right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Wire Sports Media. This is your host with the most. So, when it comes down to Cathy Engelbert, we already know that Cathy Engelbert does not know what she's doing. She does not know how to run a league. She always thinks that the bad part of everything is the good part of everything. And you have players that come out like Gabby Williams. You have players that talk about the physicality, how the referees has been playing. You already seen a high level of injuries in the WNBA so far in the early season with what 15 games already been played, and you still have another they 3 quarters in and still have a halfway to go. We not even in the All-Star break yet, and we still seeing this. Now, per Athlon Sports, WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert addresses the concerns along with other league topics during a recent media session. Her comments on the issues were clear. There always a group, there always a room for growth and improvement in officiating. Okay, so if that's the case, why not take a stand this season? Why not say something this year? Why not look into it this year as the season going on and make some corrections? But she doesn't. She sits back and allow these. We have seen Caitlin Clark in every game gets held, hold, beat her, and battered. And we already could go back to the Connecticut Sun game and probably further than that with Atlanta Dream. So she went on to say that I do find it interesting when you sit in a chair I sit in that no winning team ever complains. Well, how about this? She's saying no winning team ever complains. Well, there are complaints. So you trying to say because teams are not complaining because they don't have a winning record, there's not a level of concern. So you just taking as this as a situation where you just like, you know what, hey, they're not saying nothing, we're not going to address it. And then she said, no losing team ever does complain about the no, she said, I said that there no winning team ever complains and no losing team ever does complain about officiating. So I'm looking at when I look at this statement is that she trying to say that, in other words, I guess she's saying that nobody comes and complains about the referee. But then there are level concerns because you talk to players like Gabby Williams, you talk to players like Nafisha Carter, you talk to players like Sabrina or Nescu, or you talk to a coach like Stephanie White, who constantly complain about the referee and officiating how it is. How can you be that dumb and blind that you cannot sit here and recognize what the WNBA is doing when it comes to refereeing? These referees literally sits in these games and look at the constant blatant hole or fouls that's being made, phantom calls are being made. We seen it last year with the New York Liberty when they went on to win the WNBA title against the Minnesota Lynx. And that was a huge issue then. That should have been addressed. In the same report, Monty McCutcheon, who oversees officiating development and training for the WNBA for the NBA, weighed in. He acknowledged growing pains within the WNBA younger referee pool. With that young staff, there's going to be some growing pains. There's no doubt about that. McCutcheon said, "Our our job is to recognize when consistency isn't being applied and when there is that inexperience that needs to grow in these areas, and when it's outside noise because this is a very convenient thing to say. Well, it's not just outside noise, and it's not a convenient thing to say. It's a factual issue that's going on because fans are getting ignored. You got fans at games are seeing this stuff on the jumbotron. You got people courtside seeing it play out on the court, and then you got coaches, players, and everybody's reacting on the sideline when there's a bad call. The referee in the Connecticut Sun game literally told Stephanie White that she did not see Marina Baby knock Caitlin Clark down. She literally told her that she didn't see it. But then you see the replay. You could go back and do a replay, and guess what happened? You seen it right there, but you didn't take no action towards it. But then they had to go back the next day to make the correction to upgrade it to a flagrant foul. So, as Korean Copeland and the Washington Post reported, going back and forth between the WNBA and the NCAA can require officials to be able to call games differently from the way they've been trained. Players and coaches are demanding perfections, but they do not want more consistency. Minnesota Lynx forward, an official called a voice that many around the league have felt. I don't think it's consistent, Caller said. I think every player said that. I think it's getting worse. I'm just going to be really honest about it. In a conversation I tried to have with Cathy Engelbert and others, it's something we have to get better at. We have as many eyes on us, and consistency is the biggest thing. The the WNBA is preparing to expand in the years to come. How the league handles officiating will be a major storyline for Kathy and her team to moving forward. Now, and that's from Athlon Sports. Now, if Nafisha Caller has issues with it, why not take heed to that? But then again, check this out.
Thank you for asking. This is the second time where I'm attacking. It's very physical. I'm saying something to the ref, watch my landing space, watch physicality. I get laughed at, and it ends in my ankle getting turned. The same thing happened in Dallas, a flagrant that wasn't called. Same thing happened here. So my ankle is hanging in there, but it's starting to get very frustrating. I'm averaging less than 2 free throws a game, and I drive. Like, I'm physical. I'm not someone who's avoiding contact. So I just hope that the safety of players starts to become a priority versus the ego of refs.
So you pretty much listen to what she said, and you seen what she said. Now we have to sit here and watch how Caitlin Clark continuously continuously don't get fouls called, either driving to the basket or in her landing spot when she takes a three. But guess what? Guess what that means? That means at the end of the day, the ref is blindly missing that. They blindly missing these calls, and it's leading to either injuries or whatever the case might be. You have to protect the players, and you got to protect your superstars. And we already know that Caitlin Clark is not being protected at all with none of this stuff. And for Kathy Engelbert to use her bird's eye insight to be blinded about this is really concerning. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be a situation where they are not going to allow if more players get injured, if players continue to get injured, there's going to be players talk about load management. There's going to be players that's not going to participate in certain games. There's going to be situations where viewership is going to get hurt, the product going to continue to get bad, and people going to start watching all over again. Kathy Engelbert knows that she needs to step in, but she doesn't do that. But guess what? This is what she does. She deflects. She constantly deflects. She said, "Is there a problem?" Players and coaches obviously think so, but Engelbert isn't so alarmed. Basketball in general is considered difficult to a fish, given all the athletic bodies moving in a confined space, particular around the basket. So before I even get to that, if you look at the NFL, they line up 11 on 11 and they moving around, and referees makes calls. How hard it is to have your referee run down up and down the court looking at certain plays. All you got to do is make a call. It's not that difficult. What she's trying to do is deflect and use it as an excuse to why the refereeing is not making certain calls. When literally When if you're on the sideline and you looking directly at a play and you see a person's being fouled, but you're not calling it, that's being deliberate. There's always room for growth and improving the officiating. The commissioner said, I do find it interesting. So I read that part already. And then we look at this from Twitter. That coalition has said, get Cathy out of here. The job is too big for her now. This isn't normal for ref. No, this isn't normal complaints. Win or lose, there is general incompetence with the WNBA ref that teams, players, fans that have complained about Cathy. No effing embarrassment watching this display right now, night in and night out. And then DeGrasse CCAG said Cathy Engelbert on the conference around the WNBA officiating. See, she doesn't care because she's already licensed to be the physicality of the league, and then players getting hurt. She already licensed that. And then I think through Christina Berman, something I'm definitely going to touch on in another video, maybe tomorrow, Monday, about her saying that Adam Silver, because Michelle I think the Wilburn or whatever her name is, said that on a radio show that Adam Silver might be stepping in to the second injury dealing with Caitlin Clark. And if he has to step in, that's going to send an alarm factor about Cathy. I think Cathy Engelbert needs to go. I think Cathy Engelbert, like Coalition said, I think the job has become too big for her and she doesn't know how to manage. The team is going to continue to grow exponentially with all of these new expansion teams coming in. You're going to see that games are going to get moved more from 44 to probably 50 on 55. There's going to be a lot of things going to be changing with the league, and people want consistency. That's all they want. They just want consistency. They just want to enjoy a game where there's a level of officiating. For the Indiana Fever, we already know that the referee's against them. We already know the league is against them. So guess what? They got to go out and play extra hard to beat a team, and they also got to go play extra hard to beat the referees because they cannot rely on the referees. You have seen a game in, the game out. If it's not Leah Boston, it's not Sophie Cunningham, it's not Lexi Hall, it's not Caitlin Clark, it's not Stephanie White. Somebody's complaining about the refereeing. They have to get it together. And I just think that Cathy Engelbert just don't give a about it. So let me know your thoughts on Cathy Joke Engelbert about this refereeing and what steps could be taken to move forward to get this taken care of. Until then, Live Wire Sports Media, take care.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live Wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying.